Hey you guys, welcome to ArtyFieldTrips, and welcome to my first sketchbook tour. She's a thick girl, and I'm excited to show you what's inside. Also, my dryer's running, so please excuse me, because your girl's gotta do laundry. Anyway, so I thought for the first thing, I would show you all the stickers on my sketchbook. This one is by 1000. He's like, hands down, my favorite YouTuber. If you don't know who he is, he's this like badass street artist that paints all these murals. And this is from a zine fest that I went to in Los Angeles, another 1000 sticker. This is from Mira Byler, and she's also one of my favorite YouTube people. And this is another one from Mira Byler, and another one. And you should check her out. I really like her painting. That's a produce sticker. I like to get produce stickers and my pirate ship. And then another produce sticker. I like to draw the things from the produce stickers in my sketchbook. You'll see that later. So this is a cupcake that I designed. This is an owl. You'll see him later too. And that's another cupcake that I designed. So the bottom three are ones that I made. And then the next two that I pointed to are stickers that my kids gave me that I work with at school. Alright, getting my cover caught on my light. Super fun. So this sketchbook actually spans a long time in my life, and I go through different tastes and different attitudes, and you'll see that. And so I've got this like unicorns scrapbooking paper situation. These are my band stickers for my band that I keep trying to put together. And on the first page, I have more scrapbooking kind of affirmations, and then a list of things to do. You can see, I thought I was going to read them out loud, but I'm going way too fast. So you can look at them if you want. They were goals that I set when I first started this. I would probably have different goals now. And the first page is watercolor and micron pen, and it's a concept for a zine I was going to do called Cotton Candy Thunder Lizard. On the other side of that page, this was my first try of using acrylic markers, and I love them so much. This is more planning for Cotton Candy Thunder Lizard. And then on this page, that's notes from an art class, like an online art class or something. And then this is just kind of like a free paint exercise I did. That was acrylic paints from the scrapbooking session called Jane Davenport paints. And then here's some doodles. You'll see that I'm a big old doodle girly. Like, I love me some doodles. That one, I thought it kind of looked like fireworks. So this starts several pages that you'll see where I'm working on this art series that was going to be this giant solo show. And these icons here were supposed to be made out of fabric, kind of like quilt wall hangings with like texture on them and stuff, like with beads. And this was based on the different biomes and climate change and stuff like that. And then I love my monster bunny. I drew that one time when I was waiting for a meeting to be over about a kid that I work with. And then this is another free paint one. I was really happy with this. And again, these Jane Davenport paints, they're like kind of an acrylic gouache, and they lay down on the paper so nice. And then I had a concussion, and I had to draw it out. And this is one of the drawings I made, and I like to do lettering. And so I like to try to practice lettering, and you'll see that throughout my sketchbooks as well. And then these are what I call stress maps, and they're kind of like art therapy for me. If my brain is just full of junk and I can't think and I'm having anxiety or whatever, I just let it out all over the page. So this is another mini comic, kind of like Cotton Candy Thunder Lizard, called The Pirate Bunnies. I actually made this one and produced it on a copy machine. And I have copies of it that I give to people. That I just pointed to, that's part of that art series that I was talking about. And I actually made those chalices out of clay. And then here is one of my produce sticker pictures with a nectarine. And these are part of that series again. They turned out so good in clay. If I can find my pictures of those, maybe I'll share that later. This is more of that art series, just more concepts. And then this is the painting from my video I did back in the day about negative painting. I tried to keep it simple because I wanted to make it a video for beginners, but I want to get into more complicated negative painting. And then these are some animals. One of them is my friend's dog. I really got into damask and trying to add patterns. And then this is just a crazy cat. And sometimes you just have to draw a crazy cat. If it doesn't turn out the way you want to, you just go with the flow, you know? And this is more of another kind of stress map kind of thing, just kind of drawing little squares. I do this when I have art block, and then sometimes I'll get inspired by like color combinations, kind of like that sunflower with the pink in the background, and I'll go from there and I'll get my art back. Another doodle. These are some designs I did for a company, and they made silk scarves and pillows out of them. They made really beautiful silk scarves. Again, it's packed somewhere, so if I find it, I'll show it on my channel at some point. Also, those were made out of Staedtler watercolor markers. And then on this page, this is an assignment I got to do with one of my students that I work with. He was in an art class, and they had a worksheet that had lines in each square, and you had to make a design around the lines. And then this is, so I was with my partner who passed away at a cancer center, and I was really anxious. So I doodled cell structures. There's blood cells in there, there's muscle fibers, there's skin cells, and what's called a Golgi body is in there. And then these are some abstract Christmas trees inspired by these Christmas trees I cut out from the wrapping paper of a present my friend Ashley gave me for Christmas. This is another stress map doodle thing. I kind of went with a color scheme. And then, so back in the day, I don't even know what I'm calling back in the day, but a while ago, it was the thing to try to do a painting with washi tape, so that was what that was. This is something I did with one of my students. It's a reverse coloring situation, and we decided we were going to make them all kind of critters. They might be imaginary critters, but it was going to be critters. And then here's some more design, just raw ideas for designs. And here is that owl I made the sticker into. I just thought it turned out so well. I really liked the colored pencil and the way it blended. And different owls, and I'm studying to get another education degree, so here is stickers from my university. And then continuing with the woodland creatures, so you'll see I have 3 of them that I used grayscale with, and then that's another experiment with my acrylic markers. On there's also a postcard from the artist Mira Byler that I mentioned when I was showing the cover. This is one of my favorite spreads. It shows a variety of different styles and a variety of different mediums, and so it's a good reference for if I need to make something in a different style, like a sketch style with pen, or if I want to use acrylic markers or acrylic paint, if it needs to be more pop art or more traditional art. I have a good idea of each of those things to go on. And then that's another doodle, kind of testing out patterns. This is seashells. I had never drawn seashells before, and those are actually drawn with Crayola twist-ups or twistables or whatever they're called. This is one of my first drawings using alcohol markers, and of course they bleed through. So in the next couple of pages, you're going to see that I am experimenting with a theme, and I'm also experimenting with putting a wash down before I draw to make it kind of look vintage or old or something. I like washi tape, you can tell. A fruit I didn't draw. Maybe I'll go back and draw that. And then on this page where it says I feel the start of something new, that is a Danish that I got at a training for the job I have now, and I love this job, and I'm so happy and thankful that I got to get this job. So that's what that's about. And then here's some different methods for cupcakes, and you'll see that I turned that one cupcake that's fully colored into not only the sticker you saw on the front, but another YouTube video that's on my channel. This is another free paint thing. I like the colors and the flowers, but I just really don't think her face turned out well. I like to try to experiment with patterns and how they can go into things. This is a Monstera leaf painting concept. I ended up painting a triptych, which is a series of 3 paintings that are hung together of this that went into a hotel lobby. And then this is more of that worksheet that I got to do with my student, with the basic lines that you had to turn it into something. And I think that bird is my favorite one. This is an abstract landscape that I actually got the idea from a Skillshare class, not sponsored, by a lady named Sarah Boccaccini Meadows. And that's a healing garden that was in the cancer center where my partner got her cancer treatment. And then here is more stickers that I designed, and I was supposed to draw something spooky in the middle and never got around to doing that. I didn't design the pumpkin and the cat. All right, and then here is a bug. You'll see lots of bugs, and I am working on another video where I drew 100 bugs, and I'm showing you that. And that one, I never got around to painting that one wing, and it drives me crazy, but at the same time, I think it says something. It's kind of like a statement that I didn't mean to do, but I kind of like it that way now. Here is another page with a sticker I designed, and then a rough concept for some art that's kind of like that free painting thing with those Jane Davenport paints I was talking about and some gel pens. And I was going to draw a better version of it on the other side. Here are some fish. This is one of the first things I drew with acrylic markers. I also experimented with a little bit of collage in my sketchbook, some paper underneath it. The other side is, so my mom was a school teacher, and she had these rubber fish that you're supposed to paint with, and so I was helping her clean her classroom and I found them and I used them. And then another sort of collage moment, I just felt like I needed that affirmation at the time. This was another triptych. It was gonna go in a coffee shop, and they ended up not taking it for some reason or another. And then here is a doodle with gel pens. And again, this is a page where there is a lot of quotes about Los Angeles. And this is when I was trying to get some things together and trying to decide where I wanted to move. And Los Angeles became the only option, like literally the only option. So I was trying to get myself like psyched to move to Los Angeles. And again, like the list at the beginning, I thought I was going to read these out loud, but this is going way too fast for that. So you guys can pause it and read it if you want to. I kind of like the Make It Happen, Shock Everyone one. And then it basically talks about how Los Angeles is a place for creative people who think outside of the box. And I agree with that. After living in Los Angeles for 5 years now, that'll tell you how old this sketchbook is, how long it's taken me. But I agree with these quotes, you know. It is a place for creative people. It is a place to think outside of the box. Nothing is conventional here, not even the idea of Los Angeles. If you have the same idea of Los Angeles that everyone else has, it's not right. It's not the way it is here. And then these are some like rough tattoo kind of things. This is some tattoo flash that I had drawn a while ago and then collaged in here. Another collage moment with some doodles. I know I'm getting my groove back when my doodles get more interesting and more complicated. Like, I like the colors on this one. I kind of like how I limited the color scheme. Now we're getting into more bugs. So with the bugs, I was trying to learn a lot of different things. So I started out with these simple drawings and tried to see what happened when I drew with different lines, different tips on pens. And if you see a colored page of bugs, like this right here, I did the simpler page first, and then I came back a while later and did the more fleshed out page. I think one of my favorite ones is the neon colored ladybug, like up in the corner. And it's crazy. You're going to see a lot of bugs in this sketchbook, but that's only half of the 100. I really liked this page. I really thought that these turned out really well. It was fun to experiment with positive and negative space. And then I didn't ever finish the dragonfly spread. Next we have butterflies, and I really like the tattoo flash one I did. And then experimenting with color was the goal of the other page with the 6 butterflies on it. And I think that page turned out really well too. It's one of my favorite pages in the sketchbook. And then I've got bees. And I like the progress that I made drawing the one on the honeycomb. I would like to do it again with better pencils. I love that little dude in the corner, the purple and red one. And this was a dollar store challenge that I did, trying to use what I learned when I drew the bugs and try to do a dollar store challenge. And then this is a dinosaur spread. And as you can see, you know, stuff starts out real rough and you get different ideas, and then you do something that's also from the dollar store supplies. All right, so this guy, his name is Snot Rocket, and yes, he looks a lot like Speed Racer because I was showing a student that I was working with how to change something up when you're drawing it. And then this is some flowers. Another doodle, of course. This is the first time I got those Sharpie art markers, the Sharpie acrylic markers, and I was using those and checking those out. This was actually a textile print design. And then I love this spread too, Savannah Animals. I really love when you find the perfect washi tape to go with something and it kind of adds to the humor of it or something like that, like this one. And my favorite, I really want to do a big painting like this of a zebra with the pink behind it. And this is more collage moments. And then these are stress flowers, I think she called it. But I got that idea from the YouTuber Emily Artful on here. And it's a really nice video to go follow her tutorial on that. And then this is a color page a pen pal sent to me. This painting is really important to me because not only did I really try to up my game when it came to skills, especially like along the edge of the cardboard and the smudges of icing on the place where the cake used to be, but it's also the last birthday cake my mom ever had before she passed away. So I didn't draw on the back of this one. I'm probably going to take it out and frame it as kind of a remembrance of her. And then this, so I feel like this is more close to the style I would like my art to go into. And I really want to do more of that kind of dot thing in the background, but maybe more cleaned up. Again, this is a rough idea. I really like the colors. I need to work on my ability to draw faces. So here's a bunch of plants. This is a 5 Below challenge, and it's got watercolor markers on it, and it's got paint, like glitter paint. And then I really want to try to draw more terrariums because terrariums are like a little world, and I want to explore how I can tell a story with them. And this is my school page, my school spread. This is art I've done at various schools with the kids that I work with. And you can see school days, and that tinsel is something I found on the ground. And then that's part of a bulletin board border, a sticker a kid gave me, and a paint set my kid had. And then this is one of the art projects that we did. I work with kids that have emotional disturbance, so art is really therapeutic for them, and we try to do it a lot. Now this page is really important to me. It looks really simple, but this was trying out some handmade stamps that I had made to make like 300 Christmas ornaments for a Christmas recital that needed something like that. And the reason why it's important to me, it's the last holiday that my whole family was together, and we all worked on them. And so I like to remember sitting around and listening to Christmas music and making the Christmas ornaments. And then this is another project I did with kids. And then here are some of my favorite cartoon characters. Again, that's part of my exploration with acrylic markers. It's probably the third thing I've ever done with acrylic markers, and I love them so much. I love Adventure Time. I actually got that when I got my blood taken at the doctor's office. And then this is supposed to be cats. And then here is a Christmas world. I got enchanted with drawing these like floating worlds. I hate how it's too close to the top though. And then this dude is the critter that I made up in my first YouTube video. He's with a brush pen. And then this is actually a real thing that they have at Universal Studios. And I like to go there during the holidays. And that's actually a real decoration they have that's life-size, that's by the entrance to Super Mario Land in Universal Studios Hollywood. And I tried to draw a Mylar balloon, but it didn't work out that well. And then these were a block print I made to do a Thanksgiving menu with. And then here are the Thanksgiving treats that we had that year. Again, this is really important. This part of my sketchbook, this is the last holidays that I had with my mom and with my family who all passed away. This is a tofurkey roast, pumpkin pie, and a pear, and a sweet potato. And what I love about this is I didn't do an outline. I just painted it straight on there with paint, and explored what I could do without an outline. And that worksheet is from a training I did for my job. And I love me some good swatch pages. The swatches on black paper. Here is some art that a kid that I worked with gave me. I cherish it. And then more swatches labeling like what the paints are. The Arteza paint is held up a lot. Like you can see the color is still really vivid. And then that's my favorite swatch page, the one with the Hello Kitty sticker on it. I just think it looks fun, and like it has its own story and it could be its own artwork. And I really like experimenting layering things. So gel pens really layered on top of those Jane Davenport paints that I talked about. And that is a giant list, and I need to cover up that phone number with my finger. It's a giant list of potential YouTube videos, so. And then these are things that I got from schools, like the zombie sticker and what you saw on the previous page. And then this is a little drawing to go with this Chase Your Dreams fortune that I got in a fortune cookie. And my biggest dream is to make my music work. Like, y'all don't even know. And then Amoeba Music is an awesome record store here in LA, Lisa Frank. Another sticker I got from the doctor's office. More fruit stickers. All right, well, thank you so much for looking at my sketchbook. I appreciate you. If you're viewing this, my YouTube channel is still really new. So if you get in on the ground floor and watch this early on, I especially thank you. It means a lot to me that you would take your time and look at my things. So until next time, remember that art is everywhere, and let's go find it.